Hello out there in Corona land. Here's a few more drills for you guys. We worked through all of the Verbogenhau or the Meisterhau that we train. Notably, we didn't do Scheitelhau, but we don't do it drilling in class either. As probably most of you guys know, I think that's much more of a tactical technique rather than one that requires a lot of practice of the motion of a handwork. It's much more about knowing the right time to do it and how to read things as you're doing it. But anyway, so we're not going to do a Scheitelhau drill. Instead, we're going to do a few little pickup drills we'll often do in class after we finish these cuts, if I feel like we need to do some more. So let me show two of them real quick. They're both pretty simple. One is just a good way to practice Unterhaus. Unterhaus are underused probably in our group. I think some people try to use them a lot, which I think is great. But traditionally I don't use them a lot, so that probably means that's transmitted to you guys. But they are really good to practice. They're really nice for coming in on a line people don't anticipate defending. The trick with an Unterhau is always, how do you do it safely? How do I throw an Unterhau down here in a way that doesn't surrender all my upper openings, right? So tactically, when we're fighting, the way to do that is make sure that we're bringing these hands up into, you know, a high hanging, generally speaking, or to make sure that we're just really reading that moment in such a way that your sword is somewhere else when you throw the cut. Also, a great way to throw Unterhau is with its fair, right? And when you're doing it with its fair, you don't really have these problems anymore because it's essentially just a normal Zwerhau. Okay, but a good drill to work on this Unterhau motion. We talked about the wrist breaking a lot in the Zwerhau video. The same thing can really happen with the Unterhau. I don't like to see it. It's not good. Not good for your wrist, not good for the cut. Tactically, it's not great. So what I'm talking about is, let's see, what's a good angle to see it? If someone's here and they're throwing an Unterhau and it comes up like this and these hands kind of stay low and you can see this wrist will get broken like that. This thing happens a lot. You want to make sure you're not doing that, right? So a big way you can make sure you're not doing that is as you throw your Unterhau, you're not keeping those hands low at the solar plexus height as your sword continues to travel up like this, which is going to force this wrist, either force this wrist to break or force you to like let go with your left hand and recover a grip over here. It's not a terrible thing to do, but it's not great for actually delivering cuts, right? You can imagine that if I'm trying to cut a target and I bring it up like this and I let go as I'm cutting, if there's like impact here that I don't anticipate, or even that I do anticipate, there's a good chance I'm going to lose my grip. So while you can turn the hand like this, we do see that in the manuals, turning to a reverse grip and an Unterhau shouldn't be your go-to, your bread and butter. Instead, what we want to see is as we bring the blade up to cut, right? As we bring the blade up to cut, our arms are coming back with it, and we travel in this wheel-like motion through our two ox positions. Well, our ox position too, if we're doing them chain like we're about to, right? So when we do this, to me, it feels kind of like a wheel that keeps rolling. It almost feels like it's being guided by my left hand, and the rest of the sword is just following, like this. That's not really where the motion is coming from, but that's what it kind of feels like to me. So we're here. I'm going to cut up, again making sure I cut up through this ox. I then bring the elbow and arm back down around, and then this puts me in a position to cut up here. Right? Just make sure these arms are coming up. Right, that's what we're looking for. You can do it like a big wheel that just keeps rolling and rolling. You can do them one at a time. You can do it more extended and bring it back like that. Or you can keep it tight. Whatever, play around with it. All right, so that's the Unterhaus. The last drill I'm going to talk about today is something I call a Striechen-Up. We used to do them in class a lot back in the day. Haven't really done them in a while. I like them a lot because if you do them right, they can be pretty physically exhausting. So that's why it's the last thing I'm going to do today. I've been out here for about 2 hours now, so I'm starting to get kind of tired. But the Striechen-Up, if you do it well, it almost feels like a burpee when you're doing it, right? It can be a really good exercise. It's really good for making you conscious of like kind of your biomechanical chaining, like the way that, you know, if it starts in the hands and, does the shoulder pick it up? Does it go through the hips? Is it starting from the hips and going out to the hands, whatever. So hopefully a lot of y'all remember the term Striechen defines a cut that is rising and clears with the short edge. It can be an actual cut, but it's often a motion to clear the line, right? So we'll be down here and we'll taunt, give an opening, and if someone takes it, we'll clear the line and then come in and cut. Or you can even just clear the line and come right back down. There's a bunch of things. You probably know this, but in Ringek, he has a whole later section that's not really Lichtenauer stuff, it's his stuff. And he gives like a dozen different techniques that come from the Striechen. He pulled them from Par and Feint, so you can find them in Par and Feint too, but to me it always makes a little more sense coming from Ringek because it's more central to the like Lichtenauer's concepts. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of things you can do from the Striechen. But for this drill, we're not so much worried about delivering this like nice tight Striechen that like whips up and clears the line. More worried about channeling or chaining this big motion with the motion of your body. So for this one, it's not great inside. If you're in an apartment with a low ceiling, I apologize. This might not be a good one for you unless you have like a short indoor trainer. What we're looking for here, and for this you need to be actually in a fencing stance, so not shoulder width apart, but actually in a fencing stance. So here I'm in my lower left position. So this is a position called Wechselhut, or depending on your interpretation, it could be Nebenhut. But you're down here like this, and what we're gonna do is we're in like a fencing position, right? I'm bent down, I'm low, bent knee in the front. I'm going to, with a step, launch a Striechen super high all the way over my head. And as I do it, I'm going to step up, bring my feet together, and I'm going to raise up all the way. So hopefully you can see I'm standing on my tiptoes, I'm raised all the way up, and then I'm going to fall down here in my next position. Okay, and as I fall, I want to think about, I think I did it there, I didn't mean to. As I fall, I want to think about not arching my back when I lean over, but falling like this. So here we're moving from this position really high, really low, really high, really low. It works really well with walking. So if you have a backyard or some room to move, this can be really nice. That. So you want to do this really big, exaggerated motion. It is, hopefully if you're doing it right, it's a full body workout. It's a really nice way to end because it's not about fine motions and keeping this perfect form. It's about really big motions. So ideally, you're not like a Meyer print, close to the ground, but you're with a bent knee. You're gonna bring your back foot forward. As you straighten this knee, you're almost like jumping high, standing on your tiptoes, feet together, like this, and then falling on the other side. It should be a really athletic flinging up of the sword. You should try to keep the sword all the way up. Well, you can see, like in this position, you don't want to fling it up and drop down. You're really looking for this huge exaggerated extension all the way down. And do that a few times for a few minutes, and a lot like a burpee, it'll find the energy you have left and get rid of it. So I like that drill as a good way to finish up. Yeah, you can do it walking forward, walking back, whatever. And yeah, I call that a Striechen-Up. All right, sword pals, I think that's it for today.
Felt good to swing the sword around a little bit and to hang out with you guys, even if it's only in my imagination. I really hope everybody's doing well. And again, if you'd like to, I highly encourage you, train at home, take videos doing it, send them out, even if it's just boring stuff. Just show videos of you training, and that'll kind of make us all feel like, even though we're apart, we're kind of training together. You know what I mean? If you have any specific questions, feel free to write them on the Discord or make a video asking the question. If you want to do a video and ask for like corrections on form or feedback, super happy to do that, as I'm sure are a lot of people online on the Discord page. Also, if you have some drills that you're doing at home that I haven't talked about, hook us up. Let's see what you're doing. Let's see what you're playing with. I'd love to see it. I will hopefully be making more videos, either to respond to videos that you guys make, or if nobody puts anything up, that's cool too. I'm just gonna start trying to videotape me working out every now and again. Things are pretty crazy in the Weems house between work and taking care of the kid and getting ready for this baby. It's coming, like, in theory in like 3 weeks, but it could be really any day now. So I don't have as much time as I'd like, but I'm gonna try and make the time for you guys and for myself. And yeah, see y'all hopefully soon. And even if not in person, I'll see you very soon on the internet. All right, guys, cool. Stay safe, stay sane. Bye.